I found this story where it shouldn't have been, and once you hear it, it doesn't let go.
The first sign something was wrong wasn't a sound, it was distance. I opened my apartment door at midnight, and my neighbor's door across the hall looked closer than it was yesterday, like the building had quietly taken a step while I slept. I'm Mr. D, and before I tell you the rest, quick thing, if you're watching right now and you're not subscribed yet, you're in the majority. Most people who binge horror stories never hit subscribe, so please like and subscribe to support me and hear more from Bloody Chapter. Because this story ends with a door that learns your exact number of steps. My hallway was normal for months. Beige walls, weak ceiling lights, a flickering exit sign at one end, and the same doors like teeth on both sides. Mine was 7C. The door across was 7B. I knew it because I'd passed it 1,000 times, and because sometimes I'd hear muffled TV sound through it, like my neighbor was always watching the same shows at the same volume. That night, when I stepped out to take trash, my footsteps felt fewer. My body expected 8 steps to the trash chute, but it took 6. I stopped and stared down the hall. The chute was still there. The exit sign still flickered, but the space between objects felt tightened, like a belt pulled one notch. I did the dumbest thing when reality feels wrong. I tested it. I walked back to my door, put my toe against the bottom edge, and counted steps to 7B. Yesterday it was 12. That night it was 10. I stared at 7B's peephole, half expecting it to stare back. Nothing. No movement. No sound. Just a door that felt too close. I told myself maybe fatigue, maybe the carpet, maybe my counting. I went inside and tried to forget it. But the next morning, the building's resident app sent a notification I'd never seen before. Corridor optimization in progress. No dates, no explanation. Just that sentence. That night I put a strip of painter's tape on the carpet where I usually stop to check my phone. When I woke up, the tape was still stuck to the carpet fibers, but it had shifted closer to my door by a few inches, like the floor moved under it. The next evening I met my neighbor for the first time in months. Tired guy, hoodie up, groceries in hand. He paused, looked around the hallway with a small frown like he couldn't place what was different. Feels tighter, he muttered, then leaned close and whispered in a tone that didn't match casual hallway talk. If your door ever ends up facing itself, don't open it. He stepped inside 7B and shut the door gently, like he didn't want the hallway to hear him. I stood there with my stomach tight, and the ceiling light above us flickered and stayed dimmer than the others, casting a long shadow that didn't match our bodies. My phone buzzed again from the resident tab. Distance recalibration floor 7 complete. I didn't like the word recalibration. It sounded like a machine adjusting. I stayed up late watching the gap between my door and the opposite wall like it might change in front of me. Then just after 3 o'clock a.m., I heard a soft scraping sound in the corridor, not footsteps, like something heavy being dragged across carpet. I held my breath and looked through the peephole. The hallway was empty, and then, without any person appearing, 7B shifted. Not swinging, sliding sideways by a fraction like it was on invisible rails. My throat went dry, because doors don't move like furniture. And right as I leaned closer to the peephole, my own doorknob turned slightly from the outside. Just a test. Like something had learned exactly how much pressure to apply without making noise. The next day, the hallway was shorter again, not by inches, by steps. The trash chute that used to take 6 steps took 4, and the exit sign at the end of the corridor looked too large, like it had been zoomed in. I called building management and got a cheerful recorded message about renovations, but when I asked what kind, the woman on the line went quiet for a beat and said, "Nothing structural, sir," in a tone that sounded like she was reading from a script. That word structural sat wrong in my stomach. I checked the stairwell and found a new sign taped to the wall: "Please USE elevator during optimization." No logo, no manager name, just those words printed too cleanly. I took the stairs anyway because I needed proof I wasn't losing my mind. I went down one flight, then another, and then I realized the numbers on the landing were wrong. Floor 6, then 6 again, then 6 again, like the stairwell was looping. I climbed back up fast, heart racing, and when I opened the door to my floor, I didn't step into my hallway. I stepped into a hallway that looked like mine but had fewer doors, and the door across from mine wasn't 7B anymore. It was closer and it had no number at all, just a blank metal plate where numbers should be. I slammed my door shut and locked it, hands shaking, then opened it again carefully to check. My real hallway was back, but the air felt different, thicker, like the building had corrected the view because I noticed. That night I heard my neighbor's TV again through 7B, but the sound wasn't a show. It was a looping emergency tone, soft and distant, like a test alert turned down low. I walked to 7B and listened. Then I heard a voice behind the tone, barely audible, repeating a sentence like a prayer: "Closer, closer, closer." I knocked once, light, and the sound stopped instantly. After a long pause, the door's peephole darkened like someone pressed their eye to it. Then a whisper came through the door, quiet and steady: "Don't knock." I stepped back, throat tight. "Are you okay?" I asked. Silence. Then my phone buzzed with the building app again. Neighbor alignment in progress. The moment I read it, the hallway lights flickered in a wave from one end to the other, like a scanner passing. I looked down the corridor and saw something impossible. The doors weren't equally spaced anymore. They looked clustered, like teeth tightening together. At the far end, the exit sign now pointed the wrong direction, its arrow aimed toward my door. I blinked hard, thinking it was a trick of angles, but it stayed wrong. And then the arrow blinked, and for one clean second it pointed directly at 7B, as if the building couldn't decide which door was the real exit. The next morning, 7B's door was close enough that if I opened mine fully, it would almost touch it. My neighbor didn't come out. No sound, no movement. I slid a note under his door: "Are you okay?" and watched it disappear an inch inward like something pulled it from the other side without footsteps approaching. I backed away, skin crawling, because whatever took the note didn't move like a person. That afternoon, I got a package notification on the app for a delivery I didn't order. I opened my door and found a small box on my mat with no label. Inside was a single item, a metal number plate: 7C, my apartment number. My blood went cold. I looked at my own door and saw it. My number plate was missing. A clean rectangle of adhesive residue remained like a tooth pulled from gum. Across the hall, 7B's number plate was still there. For now. Then a soft scraping started again in the corridor. The same sound as before, and the air between our doors felt like it tightened, like the building was pulling them together. My phone buzzed. Final optimization step tonight. And from the other side of 7B, through the wood, I heard my neighbor's voice for the first time in a week. Thin and broken. "It's not my apartment anymore." Then, very softly, a second voice answered from the hallway itself, calm: close and not human enough it will be. That night I stayed awake with every light on, sitting in a chair facing my front door like I was guarding a border. And just after 3 o'clock a.m., the hallway outside went silent in the worst way. No distant elevator hum, no pipes, no building creaks like the floor was holding its breath. My peephole darkened as if something stood inches away, but when I looked, there was no face. Only a smooth blur like the lens couldn't focus on it. Then my phone buzzed with the last notification. Optimization complete. The moment it appeared, my doorknob turned slowly, not forced, just tested, like something had learned the exact amount of movement that wouldn't trigger a panic response. I didn't open the door. I backed away, and the sound began in the hallway, scraping, steady, like furniture being moved. Except it wasn't furniture. It was walls. I heard the building shift, a low groan like stressed wood, and then a soft click. The sound of a number plate being pressed into place. I stepped to the peephole again and my stomach dropped, because the hallway had changed. 7B was gone. The space where it had been was now a plain wall, and directly opposite my door was a new door, fresh paint, clean knob, no scratches like it had just been installed. And on it, in perfect metal numbers, was 7C. My number. My throat tightened as reality tried to make me accept the new layout. I looked down and saw my own welcome mat had been duplicated across the hall. Same stain, same frayed edge. A copy. The new door across from me clicked softly from the inside, like someone testing the latch. And then I heard it, my own voice muffled through the wood, speaking as if someone were practicing it. Hello? Is anyone there? I froze because I hadn't said that. The building app opened by itself and displayed a floor plan of level 7. Except my apartment was marked twice, 7C and 7C. One labeled occupied, one labeled ready. My hands shook as I realized what optimization meant. It wasn't shortening the hallway for convenience. It was aligning a door with a door, making two identical points touch, like folding paper until ink transfers. The new door across the hall rattled gently, then stopped. Then my own door rattled in response, like a mirror answering. I remembered my neighbor's warning, if your door ever ends up facing itself, don't open it, and I understood why. Because a door facing itself isn't an entrance. It's a seam, and seams are where things cross. The hallway light above us flickered, and in that flicker, I saw movement in the peephole reflection, someone standing in my hallway wearing my hoodie. The same slouch, the same posture, only their head was tilted like they were listening for my breathing pattern. The building intercom crackled to life and played a calm recorded voice. Residents, please remain indoors. Then it added, softer, almost kind, space has been improved. I grabbed my keys and tried to run for the elevator, but when I opened my door, the corridor outside was only 3 steps long before it ended in a blank wall. No elevator, no exit sign. The building had compressed my escape route down to nothing. The new door across from me clicked again, and my own voice called out clearer now, Mr. D. It's me. My skin went cold because it wasn't a trick to lure me out. It was a trick to make me believe opening the door would fix it. The doorknob across the hall turned slowly, and my doorknob turned with it, synchronized, like two magnets pulling. I stepped back, shaking, refusing to touch anything. And then the final horror arrived quietly, like an administrative update. My phone buzzed with one last message, neighbor transfer complete. Under it was a new name field where my name should have been blank. The building wasn't just moving doors. It was moving identities, making room by folding people into the space between. I'm Mr. D, and if your hallway ever feels shorter than yesterday, don't measure it. Don't track it. Don't prove it. Because once the building knows you notice, it starts bringing the next door closer, until there's nowhere left for you to stand. Like, share, and subscribe to Bloody Chapter. And thanks for watching.